A letter arrived at the Budd family's home in Manhattan, and inside was a confession from the man who took their daughter 6 years earlier. He shared chilling details about their daughter, describing everything calmly and with precise, unsettling clarity. In May 1928, a man named Frank Howard walked into a cramped Manhattan tenement. He wore a gray mustache, carried himself like a gentleman, and said he was hiring farmhands. He offered Edward Budd a job upstate, promised room, board, and steady wages, but then he saw 10-year-old Grace, quiet, watching from the corner. A week later, he came back with strawberries, cheese, and a story, saying his niece was having a birthday party and asking if Grace could come. He had their trust and looked harmless, so she put on her best white dress and left with him, and that was the last time they saw her. In November 1934, he described what happened next in a letter, writing down every detail and mailing it to her mother. The contents of the letter were so disturbing and graphic that even seasoned investigators hesitated to read them aloud. He took her to an abandoned house known as Wisteria Cottage, quiet, boarded up, alone on the edge of town in Irvington, New York. Inside the cottage, he told Grace to wait upstairs, while downstairs he laid out a knife, a small handsaw, and a canvas apron. Then he undressed and waited. After a while, he called her down and strangled her with his hands. Then calmly he decapitated the body and cut it into pieces. Over the next 9 days he cooked and ate parts of her. Some he kept in a sack and the rest he buried behind the house. The letter led to his capture after Detective William King traced the stationery to a boarding house. On December 13, 1934, he knocked on the door, and the man who answered, once known as Frank Howard, was actually Albert Fish. At trial, he claimed to have harmed over 100 children, but only 3 of those were confirmed. The nation recoiled. Newspapers fed a public hungry for every grim detail, demanding his end. On January 16, 1936, Fish was executed at Sing Sing prison by electric chair. His final written statement was never made public. When his lawyer read it, even he refused to repeat a single word.